Good evening, everyone. Our live stream has begun. I'd like to call our meeting to order. So at this point, the November 21st, 2023 organizational meeting of the board is called to order. I'd like to remind everyone that this meeting is being live streamed and archived. We'll begin with our land acknowledgement. The Rainbow District School Board would like to acknowledge that we are on a traditional and ancestral territory of the Anishinaabeg, including Atikameksheng, Anishinaabeg, and Wampate nations. We'd also like to recognize that we are situated within the Robinson-Huron Treaty Area of 1850, and we want to recognize the inherent rights of the Anishinaabeg that have maintained these lands from time immemorial. At this point, I'll begin with the roll call. Trustee Dabowski.
Present.
Trustee Farrell.
Present.
Trustee Gibson.
Present.
Trustee Cosmerly.
Present.
Trustee McCauley.
Present.
Trustee Dewar.
Present.
Trustee Hunda.
Present.
Trustee Corbier-Addison.
Present.
Trustee Clement.
Present.
Student Trustee Green.
Present.
And Student Trustee Jacko Sywink. Before we begin with the approval of the agenda, and now that roll call's done, I would just like to take this quick opportunity to welcome our new trustee, Mr. Alex McCauley, to the table. So welcome, Trustee McCauley.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Next, we'll proceed to the approval of the agenda. We have a motion that the agenda for the organizational meeting of the board of November 21st, 2023 be approved. Can I have a mover? Trustee Cosmerly, seconded. Trustee Hunda. Okay, we'll have our vote. Trustee Clement. This is a vote on the approval of the agenda. So are you
In favor.
Thank you. Trustee Corbier-Addison.
Approve or agree.
Trustee Dabowski.
In favor.
Trustee Dewar.
In favor.
Trustee Farrell.
In favor.
Trustee Gibson.
In favor.
Trustee Hunda.
In favor.
Trustee Cosmerly.
In favor.
Trustee McCauley.
In favor.
Student Trustee Green.
In favor.
Motion's carried. So as this is the organizational meeting of the board, I'll just take a few minutes to remind everyone of a few items that are related to our process this evening. And some of these are sections from our governance bylaws. So tonight, the secretary or temporary chairperson, which is myself, will name the scrutineers. So that will be for this evening, Superintendent Kathy Watchnuk and Superintendent Leslie Fisher. So we thank them for their help. In addition, I'll be assisted by Cindy Whitson, who will share ballots when necessary. The secretary or temporary chairperson shall call for nominations and seconders for the position of chair. Of those nominated and agreeing to allow their names to stand for the election, the member receiving a clear majority of votes cast by all members present shall be declared elected. The count shall not be declared if no member receives a clear majority of the votes cast on the first ballot, and we will announce the results. The name receiving the fewest votes would be dropped from balloting until a majority of votes are in favor of one person. If the final candidates received an equal number of votes, the drawing of lots would fill the position. The person declared chair shall take the chair at once and preside over the remainder of the meeting. Just a reminder, we do have some trustees online this evening, so you will receive phone calls. People in person will get ballots. After the chair is elected, we'll proceed with the election of the vice chair, and at some point proceed to the standing committees for trustees. Trustees had an opportunity to share interest in some of these committees. The chair will go through the standing committees, look at what the committee is, state the committee, state the number of reps, state who has expressed interest, call for other nominations because nominations are able to be called for at this meeting as well. Ask people if they accept, And if we need to vote, we will vote on each of those committees this evening. So at this time, I'd like to call on nominations for the position of chair. Do we have any nominations? Trustee Clement.
Thank you. Just a small announcement first. Sometimes in the winds of change, we find our greatest direction. This made my wife really happy. So as of tonight, I'll be stepping down from the chair of the board. And with that, I'd like to nominate Trustee Farrell for the position.
Thank you, Trustee Clement. Is there a seconder for this nomination?
Sorry, I'll second the nomination. Trustee Dewar.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? I'll call on a third time. Are there any other nominations? Having called for nominations 3 times, I have a motion that nominations, oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. So moved by Trustee Gibson. Is there a seconder that nominations be closed? Trustee Corbier-Addison. So we'll proceed to a vote that nominations be closed. Trustee Clement.
In favor.
Trustee Corbier-Addison.
In favor.
Trustee Dubosky.
In favor?
Trustee Dewar.
In favor?
Trustee Farrell.
In favor.
Trustee Gibson.
In favor.
Trustee Hunda.
In favor.
Trustee Cosmerly.
In favor.
Trustee McCauley.
In favor.
Student Trustee Green.
In favor.
The motion that nominations are closed is carried. At this point, we'll ask Trustee Farrow, do you allow your name to stand?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. As there are no other nominations and Trustee Farrow has allowed his name to stand, at this point I can declare Trustee Farrow Chair of the Rainbow District School Board. So we have a motion that Trustee Farrow be declared elected Chair of the Rainbow District School Board. Is there a mover? Claimed. Do we have a mover?
I'll
Trust-
move.
We have Trustee Clement and seconded by Trustee Dewar. So proceed to our poll vote. Trustee Clement.
In favor.
Trustee Corbier-Addison.
In favor.
Trustee Dubosky.
In favor?
Trustee Dewar.
In favor?
Trustee Farrell.
I guess I should be in favor.
Trustee Gibson.
In favor.
Trustee Hunda.
In favor.
Trustee Cosmerly.
In favor.
Trustee McCauley.
In favor.
Student Trustee Green.
In favor.
The motion is carried. Congratulations, Chair Farrell. Is there anything you'd like to say?
Well, thank you, first of all. Wow, this is quite something. I really wanted to express my deep appreciation to each and every one of you for putting your trust in me. You know, I want to thank you as colleagues for voting. This is a really important vote of confidence. You know, I'm honored for the opportunity to serve as chair of the Rainbow Board. As you know, this board has been very close to me for getting close to 35 years now. Now, on a personal note, I can't help but think of our dear colleague, Dina Morrison, at this time. I hope that I can, as chair, serve with the distinguished and dedication and the focus that she's had towards student achievement in her entire career. I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to Chair Clement. Bob, thank you so much for the work that you've done with this board over the last couple of years through some really difficult times. Through COVID, it wasn't easy to manage, but we got through it, and your leadership was certainly appreciated by everybody around the table. So thank you once again, and I appreciate it, and let's get to business here.
Thank you, Chair Farrell. Please take the seat of the chair, and I'll turn the meeting over to you, but I will invite you to call on me to make a presentation to our outgoing chair.
So we're going to move along now with our agenda of the organization meeting, and we're going to be at section 5 and presentation to the ongoing chair, and the outgoing chair, and I'll call upon Director Bourget to make the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Farrow. Trustees, I've had the pleasure of working with Bob Clement in his role as chair of the board for the past 2 years. Trustee Clement assumed the role of chair during a time of renewal and challenge, as Chair Farrow has said. In the 2021-22 school year, as per your direction, I met with many of our stakeholders to seek input on our vision, mission, values, and priorities. This input was shared with trustees, and after many consultations and conversations, the board adopted the strategic plan that guides our work today. Trustee Clement continued in his role as chair as we entered in our first year of implementing these strategic directions, and I'm grateful to past Chair Clement and the entire Board of Trustees for establishing clear priorities. It gives our work purpose, provides the framework for allocations of resources, and is certainly guides us to this date. Also under Chair Clement's leadership, the board completed a comprehensive review of its government's bylaws, a collaborative effort of all trustees. This too was important work as it ensures the board remains effective and accountable to the communities that we serve. While the role of the chair isn't readily visible during board meetings at all times, it doesn't end after meetings adjourn. The chair is called upon to represent the board at many events. This is one of many areas where Chair Clement, our real people person, was certainly in his element, recognizing students who are being honored for saving a life, taking part in unveiling of new programs or new murals, greeting parents and guardians at the Parent Involvement Committee, participating in presentations of students' awards or graduation ceremonies in his home community of Espanola and beyond. He was equally as comfortable contributing to the board's many committees. Regardless of the ask, Chair Clement was positive, present, and ready to help in any way possible, often with little notice. As staff, we appreciate your guidance, Trustee Clement, and we are most grateful for your support as you fulfilled your leadership role on behalf of the board. We know Trustee Bob Clement will remain a committed and dedicated trustee focused on student achievement and well-being. As a lifelong learner, he believes that education opens doors and is the key to all success. It is his goal to help keep that door wide open so that all children can attain their dreams. And Trustee Clement, please accept this watch as an expression of our gratitude. Thank you for all you've done.
Thank you. Chair, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Director Bourget. Moving on to the next section of our agenda is number 7, is the election of the vice chair. So without further ado, I'd like to call for nominations at this time for vice chair. I'm sorry, I moved it. My mistake. We're now moving to our past chair, Bob Clement, for remarks. Go ahead, Bob, you have the floor.
Oh, thank you. I was hoping you. I forgot my speech, you lucky people. Because I remember the first time when I became chair, I had to pinch myself. I kept going, man, I'm the chair of the biggest board in Northern Ontario. And if it wasn't for the staff and working with the staff, that's what kept us on the straight and narrow, keeping our vision in mind. And first I'd like to thank my go-to person, which was Nicole, better than AI. She kept me on point, kept me out of the press, which I didn't want to do. I mean, I didn't want to be with the press, I'm sorry, and that really helped us in keeping our vision and our goals in mind in one direction. Cindy Whitson always kept me on schedule and always willing to answer the phone at any time. And then the staff, Bruce Bourget, was so helpful. We had an agreement. I won't call you. You call me. Well, that was quite often when things were not going all that well, but we always straightened it out. And then the great staff on the executive committee who we always work with in different committees, I really appreciate that. If I looked at the honorariums this year, if you look at the middle number, that middle number for me was time. And my wife says, what were you thinking? And I was available. That was the whole thing. I was available. I was here all the time. I wanted to be in person, and I put in a lot of time. So again, I want to thank everybody and all the trustees that we worked for the last couple of years. We work collaboratively. We work with mission, and I appreciate that. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Clement, and it's really appreciate the work that you've done with the board. It's very much appreciated, so thank you so much. Now we're going to move on to Section 7 of the agenda. It's the election of the Vice Chair. So at this time, I will now call for nominations for the position of Vice Chair. Do we have any nominations? First of all, Trustee Gibson.
Thank you, Chair Farrell. I'd like to nominate Trustee DeBasque, please.
Thank you very much. Can I have a seconder to that? Trustee Cosmerly. Thank you very much. Are there any other nominations? So I will call for nominations 3 more times. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Seeing that I have called for nominations 3 times, we have a motion. The motion is that nominations are now closed. That's moved by Trustee Gibson. We need a seconder, please. Moved by Trustee Corbier-Addison. For poll vote director, please.
Trustee Clement,
In favor.
Trustee Corbier-Addison,
In favor.
Trustee DeBasque,
In favor.
Trustee Dewar,
In favor.
Trustee Farrell,
In favor?
Trustee Gibson,
In favor.
Trustee Hunda,
In favor.
Trustee Cosmerly,
In favor.
Trustee McCauley,
In favor.
Student Trustee Green.
In favor.
Motion's carried.
Thank you, Director. Seeing that nominations are now closed, I need to reach out to Trustee DeBasque to ask her if she is willing to accept the nomination for Vice Chair of the Rainbow District School Board.
Thank you, Chair Farrell. I humbly accept the nomination. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So as there are no other nominations for the position of Vice Chair, and Trustee DeBasque has allowed her name to stand, I declare that Trustee DeBasque shall be named Vice Chair of the Rainbow District School Board. Now we need a motion for this. So first of all, can I have a mover? Trustee Gibson, seconded by Trustee Cosmerly. Poll vote, please, Director.
Trustee Clement,
In favor.
Trustee Corbier-Addison,
In favor.
Trustee DeBasque,
In favor.
Trustee Dewar,
In favor.
Trustee Farrell,
In favor?
Trustee Gibson,
In favor.
Trustee Hunda,
In favor.
Trustee Cosmerly,
In favor.
Trustee McCauley,
In favor.
Student Trustee Green.
In favor.
Motion is carried.
Congratulations, Trustee DeBasque. You're now Vice Chair of the Board. Next part of our agenda, we have a motion, Section 8, Committee Membership. And the motion reads that the membership of the Labor Relationship Committee be amended to read 5 trustees, including the trustee rep for OPSPA, as recommended by the Strategic Planning Committee. And I'd like to ask Trustee Cosmerly if she'd like to move this motion. Could we have a seconder, please? I will seconder is Trustee Clement. Thank you very much. Trustee Cosmerly, would you like to speak in favor of this motion?
I would, please. In 2019, the Board of Trustees made changes to the membership of the Labor Relations Committee, increasing the number of trustee members from 4 to 5. This change was made to ensure sufficient trustees were available to sit on grievance hearings. No reference was made to the OPSPA director being an automatic member of this committee. 5 trustees were approved as members of LRC at our organizational meetings held in December 2019, 2020, and 2021. One of these members was coincidentally the OPSPA director for the board. In December 2021, I was elected OPSPA director for the following year. I was not a member of LRC. As the OPSPA director is the link between the board and OPSPA sits at the central bargaining table, it is critical that the board's OPSPA director be part of LRC to share information and get direction from the committee and from the board on critical matters. A motion was therefore brought to the board at the February 15th, 2022 regular board meeting, quote, that the board expand the Labor Relations Committee to include the OPSPA director as a member for the remainder of the year, and to include on the committee going forward at the December organizational meeting as recommended by the Labor Relations Committee, unquote. The motion was approved. This particular motion was clear that the increase in membership numbers from 5 trustees to 6 only pertained to the balance of the year 2022, and while the OPSPA director would henceforth be part of the LRC membership, the motion did not indicate that membership on this committee would remain expanded beyond 2022. At the November 2022 organizational meeting last year, 5 trustees were approved as members of LRC, one of which was the OPSPA director. In the latest committee information sheet for Labor Relations Committee, the membership is listed as 5 trustees, trustee rep for OPSPA, implying there are 6 trustees on the committee, whereas the board did not approve an expanded membership beyond 2022. For the sake of clarity, therefore, I am requesting that the membership of Labor Relations Committee be amended to read 5 trustees, including trustee rep for OPSPA, to match the intent of the February 2022 motion and the way we have been doing business. Should the board wish to change the membership numbers of this committee from 5 trustees, it should be done as part of a larger review of our committee structures. At its November 7th meeting, Strategic Planning Committee approved a motion to recommend this change to the board. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Cosmerly. Is there any trustee who would like to speak in opposition to this motion? Seeing none, any other comments, questions from anybody? Thank you. Seeing none, we will proceed to the vote. Can we have a recorded roll call, please, Director? Thank you.
Trustee Clement,
In favor.
Trustee Corbier-Addison,
In favor.
Trustee Dubusky,
In favor?
Trustee Dewar,
In favor.
Trustee Farrell,
In favor.
Trustee Gibson,
In favor.
Trustee Hunda,
In favor.
Trustee Cosmerly, Trustee McCauley,
In favor.
Student Trustee Green.
In favor.
Motion is carried.
Thank you very much. Next item of business on the agenda is moving to a call for nominations for our OPSPA director. So this time, I'd like to open up nominations for the position of OPSPA director. Trustee Clement, it's the first time.
It'll take you a while to get used to that. I'd like to nominate Judy Cosmer, please.
Thank you. Can we have a seconder to that, please? That's Trustee Corbier-Addison. Thank you. Are there any further nominations? Seeing none, I will ask 3 times. Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Seeing none, I move to close nominations. So we'll need a mover and seconder for that, please. So Trustee Gibson for mover, seconded by Trustee McCauley. I see his hands up there.
Second.
Thank you very much. Trustee Cosmerly, do you accept this nomination?
I do with thank you.
Thank you very much. So we need to vote now to close the nomination. So poll vote, Director.
Trustee Clement,
In favor.
Trustee Corbier-Addison,
In favor.
Trustee Dubusky,
In favor?
Trustee Dewar,
In favor.
Trustee Farrell,
In favor?
Trustee Gibson,
In favor.
Trustee Hunda,
In favor.
Trustee Cosmerly,
In favor.
Trustee McCauley,
In favor.
Student Trustee Green.
In favor.
Motion's carried.
Thank you very much. So now that the nominations are closed and we've finished the vote, we can declare Trustee Cosmerly as our OPSPA representative. We'll need a motion to approve this, that Trustee Cosmerly be declared the OPSPA representative for the Rainbow District School Board. I need a mover, please. Trustee McCauley and
I'll move.
Trustee Dubusky for a seconder. Thank you. And vote, please, Director.
Trustee Clement,
In favor?
Trustee Corbier Addison,
In favor.
Trustee Dubowski,
In favor?
Trustee Dewar,
In favor.
Trustee Farrell,
In favor?
Trustee Gibson,
In favor.
Trustee Hunda,
In favor?
Trustee Cosmely,
In favor?
Trustee Macaulay,
In favor.
Student Trustee Green.
In favor.
Motion is carried.
Thank you very much, and congratulations, Trustee Cosmerly, as our OPSRA rep. Moving to the second part of this agenda item is we now need to call for nominations for the alternate for our OPSRA representative. So I'm going to have the nominations open up now. Are there any nominations for the alternate for the OPSRA reps? Trustee Cosmerly.
I'd like to nominate Trustee Clement.
Can I have a seconder for that, please? Trustee Corbier Addison, thank you. Are there any further nominations for the alternate OPSRA rep? I will call 3 times. Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Seeing none, I declare the nominations are closed, and we need to vote for the nominations to be closed. So poll vote, please, Director. Or we need a mover and a seconder. Thank you. So moved by Trustee Hunda and seconded by Trustee Clement. Now we can go to the poll vote.
Trustee Clement,
In favor?
Trustee Corbier Addison,
In favor.
Trustee Dubowski,
In favor?
Trustee Dewar,
In favor.
Trustee Farrell,
In favor?
Trustee Gibson,
In favor.
Trustee Hunda,
In favor?
Trustee Cosmerly,
In favor?
Trustee Macaulay,
In favor.
Student Trustee Green.
In favor.
Motion is carried.
Thank you very much. And congratulations, Trustee Clement, as our OPSRA representative. Now we have to do the formal motion, and the formal motion is that Trustee Clement be declared the OPSRA representative alternate for the Rainbow District School Board. Can I have a mover for that, please? Moved by Trustee Cosmerly and seconded by Trustee Hunda. Poll vote, Director, please.
Trustee Clement,
In favor?
Trustee Corbier Addison,
In favor.
Trustee Dubowski,
In favor?
Trustee Dewar,
In favor.
Trustee Farrell,
In favor?
Trustee Gibson,
In favor.
Trustee Hunda,
In favor?
Trustee Cosmerly,
In favor?
Trustee Macaulay,
In favor.
Student Trustee Green.
In favor.
Motion is carried.
Thank you very much. And once again, congratulations, Trustee Clement, on being our OPSRA alternate rep. Thank you. So moving to item number 10 on the agenda, it's membership on standing board committees. Now, trustees have been asked to submit their names to appear on ballots for the various board committees. Nominations will also be accepted from the floor. If required, a vote by secret ballot will be conducted for each committee. So, Director, we're going to start off with the SEAC committee. So the SEAC committee, the number of reps that we require is 2. We have we have 2 representatives, and those are Alex Macaulay and Lisa Corbier Addison have expressed interest. So now we will call for nominations from the floor. Are there any further nominations for the SEAC positions? I will ask 3 times. Are there any further nominations? Any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? For I'm going to move that nominations are closed. I need a mover. Sorry. Oh, sorry, okay. First and foremost, we need to ask Trustee Corbier Addison if she accepts the nomination.
I do.
Thank you. And then Trustee Macaulay, I'm going to ask if you accept the nomination also.
I do.
Thank you. Now for the vote. Okay, we don't need to vote because the positions are filled by acclamation. So congratulations to Trustee Macaulay and Trustee Corbier Addison. Okay. We need 2? Okay, right on. The next committee that we will look to fill is the SEAC alternate. We require 2 members, and we only have 1 trustee that has stated interest at this time, and that's Trustee Cosmerly. So I will call for nominations for anybody else who would like to sit on SEAC as an alternate.
I would put my name in.
Okay, so we have Trustee Doer. Thank you, Trustee Doer. I will ask 3 more times. Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Seeing none, we'll deem that the nominations are closed. I need to ask if Trustee Cosmerly, if you will accept the position on SEAC.
Yes, I will.
Thank you. And I'd like to ask Trustee Doer if you would accept the position on SEAC.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much, Trustee Doer. Since we don't have we have enough people to fill the positions, we don't require a vote. So congratulations to the two members, 2 trustees. Thank you. So 1 SEAC rep. So does that come from one of these 2? Right. Okay. So thank you for your patience as we work through this. So now we're looking at the Accessibility Committee, and we need to have one of our SEAC reps. So that's either Trustee McCauley or Trustee Corbier-Addison or Trustee Cosmerly, yes, or Trustee Doer. So I'm going to restate this again so we can clarify. So for our Accessibility Committee, we need one member, 1 trustee that sits on SEAC. So we have 4 trustees that could apply for this or could be considered for this. So it's Trustee Cosmerly, sorry, Trustee Corbier-Addison, Trustee Doer, and Trustee McCauley. Okay, so Trustee Cosmerly, you've already put your name forward for this. Okay. So we'll call for if there's anybody else that is interested in this position. I'll ask 3 times. Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Seeing none, rule that nominations are closed, and I'll ask Trustee Cosmerly if she accepts the position.
I do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Since we have the adequate numbers for the committee, we don't need to proceed to the vote. So congratulations, Trustee Cosmerly, for the accessibility rep. Thank you. That's right. We have this. Yep. Okay, understood. Okay. So we're going to move on to the audit committee, and the audit committee has trustees have a mandate for 4 years on the committee, correct? Right. And unfortunately, with the loss of Trustee Morrison, we need to replace 1 member on the audit committee. So there is 1 vacancy at this particular time, and so we will move forward with this. Yeah, Trustee Gibson.
Point of order.
Yes.
Trustee Farrow, yourself was a member of the audit committee. As the chair, you become an ex officio member, so I believe there would be 2 vacancies.
Okay, so I'm going to look to the director for some advice on this. Trustee Hunda? Sorry, Trustee Cosmerly?
I'm not sure if we can provide comments, but I would think because you were elected last year and there's no guarantee that you would be elected next year.
Point of order.
One second,
There's
please.
not a motion on the floor, so we can't
Okay.
discuss.
Okay, thank you.
You need to make a ruling and state the reason for your ruling.
Okay. 1 moment.
After that, we can challenge the ruling and we can discuss and debate. That's no problem.
So we don't have language on this particular issue, which is a kind of unique issue. So what I am willing to do is, as being an ex-official member of the audit committee anyways, that I will step aside and we can have 2 people elected for this position. Okay, super duper, right on. Okay, so moving forward with this, we have the audit committee, and we are going to replace 2 members of the audit committee, and we have 3 people that have stated they are interested in the audit committee. That is Trustee Corbier Addison, Trustee Gibson, and Trustee Cosmerly. So we'll open it up to the floor for further nominations. Okay. Are there any further nominations to the audit committee? I'll ask 3 times. Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Seeing none, rule that nominations are now closed. Now we need to move to asking Trustee Corbier Addison if you would accept to run for this position.
I do, and can I say a few words why?
I will give you that opportunity, okay? Yeah, but not at this point, okay? A move to Trustee Gibson. Would you accept running for this committee?
Yes, Chair.
Thank you. And then Trustee Cosmerly, same for you. I'd ask
Yes,
you.
I do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. So, we can move. Super duper. Okay, so what I'm going to ask, we'll ask in reverse order, Trustee Cosmerly, if you'd like to say a few words about your nomination.
Sure. My background as working for government for 35 years, I was responsible for budgets. I was responsible for overseeing finances, and I led audits on behalf of the Government of Ontario. So I have a good understanding of accountability, I have a good understanding of financial processes, and I have a good understanding of administrative policies. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Cosmerly. We'll move to Trustee Gibson now.
Thank you, Chair Farrow. I'm interested in serving on this committee, as this is the start of my 2nd term on the board, and I have attended audit meetings and interested in being able to take part. I also have a background in finance and banking and a degree in economics, so unlike most people, I actually find that stuff interesting and enjoy, you can relate to this, Adam, enjoy reading financial statements, so I'll just leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Gibson. And Trustee Corbier Addison.
Thank you for the opportunity. I have a background in business, teaching business at Manitoulin Secondary School for many years. I started teaching in 95 to 2002 when I retired. During that same period of time, I also owned and operate my own business on a First Nations community, and I do all the bookwork in behind that business. So I'm doing financial work every day with accounts receivables, payables, and payroll. I've been doing that since 1995. I've also written many business plans for different businesses that from students that I've taught over the years. I've helped them through that. I've worked with the Ontario Trillium Foundation Grant Review Team, Northern Ontario Business Awards. I feel that I'm impartial and I'm willing to learn this new role if chosen. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Corbier Addison. So what we're doing now, we have 3 trustees that are interested in 2 spots. So we will need to proceed to a vote. So for the trustees around the table, as the ballots are being handed out, we are voting for 2 trustees for this position. 2 trustees. Thank you. Good. Thank you. Okay, fellow trustees, we can come to order and have the result of the votes. Congratulations to Trustee Lisa Corbett-Addison and Trustee Cosmerly. They would be the two members of the Audit Committee. Congratulations. So now we're going to move on to the Environmental Committee. And this includes one trustee plus a student trustee. So in this particular case, we have one person that has put their name forward. That's Trustee Corbett-Addison. So we will move to anybody else who would be interested. We'll call for nominations from the floor, and I will call 3 times. Any further nominations? Any further nominations? Any further nominations? Seeing none, we'll move that that it's closed, and I'll move to Trustee Corbett-Addison. Would you be willing to have your name stand for this committee?
I will.
Thank you very much. So as we don't need a vote, congratulations. You'll be our representative on this committee. Thank you. And now, 3. Okay. So the next committee that we move to is Equity and Inclusion. We require 3 trustees for this committee. We've got 4 trustees that have expressed interest. We have Trustee Clement, Trustee Gibson, Trustee Cosmerly, and Trustee McCauley. So I will call for nominations from the floor. Are there any further nominations? That's once. Any further nominations? Any further nominations? Seeing none, nominations from the floor are closed. Trustee Clement, do you accept to have your name stand on for this committee?
I do.
Thank you. Trustee Gibson, let your name stand.
I do.
Thank you. Trustee Cosmerly, will you let your name stand?
I will withdraw my name.
Thank you, Trustee Cosmerly. Trustee Cosmerly has withdrawn her name. And Trustee McCauley, will you allow your name stand for this committee?
I will.
Thank you. So we have 3 people who have put their name forward. Trustee Cosmerly has withdrawn her name. So we need 3 people for this committee. And so we have 3. So congratulations, those 3 trustees are appointed to the Equity and Inclusion Committee. The next committee that we need to fill, we have a Trustee Hunda. Go ahead.
I don't even know if this is appropriate this time, but just a quick question, getting back to the Environmental Committee. I'm old, I'm forgetting. We're not used to having 2 trustees. Student trustees, do we require to know tonight at this organizational meeting which one of our, it is fairly new for this board to have 2, and my protege is wondering, and I don't have an answer for him.
So I've just got some consultation here from my right ear who said that both student trustees are part of this Environmental Committee. Okay? Does that answer the question for you, Trustee Green? Thank you. Awesome. Does that answer your question, Trustee Hunda? Thank you so much. Awesome. And where we're okay, so now we're at to the First Nations Committee, and we require 2 trustees plus the First Nation trustees. So we have Trustee Dubosky, who was automatically appointed to this committee. And for the 2 other trustees, we have Trustee Clement, who has put his name forward, as well as Trustee Corbett-Addison. So I'll open nominations from the floor, and I'll ask 3 times if there are any further nominations. Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Seeing none, we'll close nominations from the floor. I'd like to ask Trustee Clement if you accept this committee appointment.
How many did you need, you said?
We need 2.
And one.
And one is the First Nations trustee, which is Trustee Corbett-Addison.
We need 1.
No, it's 2.
Still 2.
First Nations trustee is Linda Dubosky.
Yes. Did I say Corbett? I'm sorry, my mistake. Thank you for that correction, Trustee Corbett-Addison. I misspoke, and I meant that the First Nation trustee is Trustee Dubosky. My apologies. Okay, now you've got me all confused here, so we have a full complement, so I need to ask, I don't think I have asked trustee Corby Addison if she would want her name to stand for the First Nations Committee.
I accept.
Thank you very much. So we have a full complement of trustees. We don't have to have a vote. So congratulations, trustee Corby Addison and trustee Clement, as well as trustee Dabowski. Thank you very much. So the next committee that we're moving to is Labor Relations. So we require 4 trustees as well as the OBSWA representative. So automatically trustee Cosmerly will be appointed to the Labor Relations Committee. Now, I have previously been a part of the Labor Relationship Committee. Now that I'm in the role of chair and I'm ex-official to all these committees, I will withdraw my name from the Labor Commission, or committee rather, Labor Commission, wow, committee, which means we need 4 representatives from the board, and we currently have the following trustees that have put their name forward. We have trustee Clement, we have trustee Dewar, we have trustee Gibson, we have trustee Hunda, and we have trustee McCauley. So I'm going to open nominations from the floor. Are there any further nominations from the floor? Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Seeing none, nominations are closed from the floor. Trustee Clement, do you accept appointment to this committee? Accept the stand, I should say?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Trustee Dewar online, do you accept letting your name stand for this committee?
Yes, thank you very much.
Trustee Gibson, do you accept letting your name stand for this committee?
I accept the nomination.
Thank you. Trustee Hunda, do you accept letting your name stand for this committee?
Yeah, yes, I do.
And Trustee McCauley, do you allow your name stand for this committee?
I do.
Thank you very much. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trustees that are looking to sit on this committee. We need 4, so we need to have a vote. So we will be voting for trustees, 4 people on this ballot. So I'll call the scrutineers to hand out the ballots, and we'll get back to you once the election is over. Okay, thank you very much, trustees. If we can come to order. And thanks once again to our scrutineers for conducting the vote. I have the results, the 4 members that will be part of the Labor Relations Committee. First of all, I guess the 5 members, Judy Cosmerly will be our observer, so congratulations, Judy. The other 4 trustees are Trustee McCauley, Trustee Hunda, Trustee Dewar, and Trustee Clement. So congratulations to everybody for the Labor Relations Committee. Now we're moving on to our next committee, which is PEC. We have no trustee that has expressed interest previous to this meeting, so we're going to call for nominations from the floor. I'm sorry, Trustee Clement, for the PEC committee, the Parent Involvement Committee, we only need 1 trustee. We've had nobody that's expressed interest previously, but we're looking for a nomination from the floor. So are there any nominations for the Parent Involvement Committee?
I nominate Alex McCauley.
Thank you very much. We have Alex McCauley. I'll call, are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Seeing none, we'll move that nominations are closed. Trustee McCauley, will you accept your name to stand for the Parent Involvement Committee?
Yes, thanks to my nominator, I will.
Thank you, sir. Would you like to speak to it? I like it. Thanks very much. So seeing that we only need 1 member for the Parent Involvement Committee, congratulations, Trustee McCauley. You're appointed as a representative to the Parent Involvement Committee. So we're moving right along here. We just have 2 more committees to fill, trustees. School year committee, we need 2 trustees plus both student trustees are part of this committee. And we have 1 trustee, Trustee Gibson, who has put her name forward to be on this committee. So we'll open up nominations from the floor. Are there any further nominations? We need 1 more person's name. Are there any further? Yes, Trustee Cosmerly.
I'll put my name in.
Trustee Cosmerly has put her name forward. Thank you. I'll ask 2 more times. Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Seeing none from the floor, we'll move that their nominations are closed. And the fact that we only need 2 trustees for this committee, I'll ask Trustee Gibson, would you willing to let your name stand?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. And Trustee Cosmerly, are you willing to let your name stand?
I will, yeah, thank you.
It's seeing that we only need 2 trustees, thank you very much. You will fill the positions of school year calendar. Thank you very much. And plus the student trustees. Okay, and our last committee is Student Senate. So this will include 2 trustees, plus the 2 student trustees. And we have 1 person who has put her name forward, Trustee Hunda. So we'll open up the floor for further nominations. We are looking for 1 more trustee to sit on the Student Senate. So are there any further nominations? Trustee Hunda.
Thank you, Chair Farrell. I would like to nominate Trustee Clement.
Thank you. I'll ask 2 more times. Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Seeing none, we'll rule that the nominations are closed from the floor. Trustee Clement, will you accept your name to stand for this committee?
It's one of my favorite committees. Yes, I'll accept.
Thank you. And I will go to Trustee Hunda. Are you willing to let your name stand for this committee? I know the answer.
Absolutely, thank you.
Super. So we're looking for only two trustee representatives and 2 student trustees, so we have a full complement. So congratulations to all 4 trustees, Trustee Clement, Trustee Hunda, Trustee Jacko Sywink, and Trustee Green. Thank you very much. So that gets us through our committee, standing committee appointments, which is usually a very long process, but thank you so much for working me through it as my first time. So we have to now put a motion on the floor that all the members of the standing committee be approved. So I'm looking for a mover and a seconder. So I have a move by Trustee Cosmerly and seconded by Trustee Dubosky. So the motion is on the floor that the membership of the standing board committees be approved. Does anybody want to speak in favor or opposed to this? Seeing none, we will call for the poll vote. Director?
Trustee Clement,
In favor.
Trustee Corbier-Addison,
In favor?
Trustee Dubosky,
In favor.
Trustee Dewar,
In favor.
Trustee Farrell,
In favor.
Trustee Gibson,
In favor.
Trustee Hunda,
In favor?
Trustee Cosmerly,
In favor?
Trustee McCauley,
In favor?
Student Trustee Green.
In favor.
The motion is carried.
Thank you, Director. Just a couple of quick words. Thank you so much to everybody who put their name forward. These are really important committees and very, very important work that we do on a daily, weekly basis. So your work ethic and your commitment to this board is really noted. So thank you so much for that. We're now moving to item 11 on the agenda. It's governance policy, particularly governance. So the policy number is GOV 05 rather, Code of Conduct for Board Members. And at the annual organizational meeting, 2 alternate trustees shall be chosen by the board to be used when circumstances warrant that one or both trustees are needed in place of the chair or the vice chair to carry out the duties required under this policy. So we need to start off with a call for nominations from the floor. Trustee Cosmerly.
I'd like to nominate Trustee Clement for the first alternate position.
Thank you. Are there any further nominations? Trustee McCauley.
I would like to nominate Judy Cosmerly.
Thank you. Trustee Cosmerly. Are there any further nominations? One last time, are there any further nominations? Seeing none, nominations are closed from the floor. Trustee Clement, would you accept your name standing for this position? Thank you. Trustee Cosmerly, do you accept your name standing for this position?
Not for the first alternate.
Okay, thank you very much. So I rule nominations are closed. We need to now go to... So that there's no other nominations and Trustee Clement has allowed his name to stand, I declare that Trustee Clement is going to be the first alternate for Governance Policy 05. Now we need a motion for that, so I can have a mover, Trustee Cosmerly, and a seconder, please. Trustee Hunda. And the motion says, just to be clear, that Trustee Clement be declared elected the first alternate as per board policy number GV05, Code of Conduct Board Members for the Rainbow District School Board. And that's moved by Trustee Cosmerly and seconded by Trustee Hunda.
Just point of information, it shouldn't be acclaimed, not elected.
Sorry, be acclaimed. Thank you very much for that point of information. I'll mark that down. And we'll move to a poll vote now. Director?
Trustee Clement,
In favor.
Trustee Corbier-Addison,
In favor?
Trustee Dubosky,
Favor.
Trustee Dewar,
In favor.
Trustee Farrell,
In favor.
Trustee Gibson,
In favor.
Trustee Hunda,
In favor?
Trustee Cosmerly,
In favor?
Trustee McCauley,
In favor?
Student Trustee Green.
In favor.
Motion is carried.
Thank you very much, and congratulations, Trustee Clement. Now, the second part of this agenda item is the call for nominations for the second alternate as for board policy. So once again, I will open up nominations for the floor. We're looking for one trustee that will serve as second nomination. So Trustee Clement.
I'd like to nominate Judy Cosmerly. Trustee Cosmerly.
Thank you. Are there any further nominations? That's your second one. Are there any further nominations? Seeing none, that nominations are now closed. We have to vote. I just need to see their name stand though first, if they want to stand, right? Yeah. Okay, his name down. Say again? Okay, so we're going to vote to close the nominations right now. Do we need a mover and seconder for that? Yeah, mover please, to close the nominations. Trustee McCauley, and I'm looking to the screen. Trustee Dewar. So we'll do a poll vote, Director, thank you.
Trustee Clement,
In favor.
Trustee Corbier-Addison,
In favor.
Trustee DeBoski,
In favor.
Trustee Dewar,
In favor.
Trustee Farrell,
In favor.
Trustee Gibson,
In favor.
Trustee Hunda,
In favor.
Trustee Cosmerly,
In favor.
Trustee McCauley,
In favor.
Student Trustee Green.
In favor.
Motion is carried.
And now we move to the... Yeah. So Trustee Cosmerly, will you allow your name to stand for the second alternate position?
Yes, I will. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So seeing that there are no other candidates for this position, we'd like to mover and seconder rather to declare that Trustee Cosmerly is acclaimed as the second alternate as per board policy number GOV-05, Code of Conduct, board members. Can I have a mover and a seconder for that? Moved by Trustee Clement and seconded by Trustee Hunda. Can we have a poll vote, please, Director?
Trustee Clement,
In favor.
Trustee Corbier-Addison,
In favor.
Trustee DeBoski,
In favor.
Trustee Dewar,
In favor.
Trustee Farrell,
In favor.
Trustee Gibson,
In favor.
Trustee Hunda,
In favor.
Trustee Cosmerly,
In favor.
Trustee McCauley,
In favor.
Student Trustee Green.
In favor.
Motion is carried.
Thank you very much, and congratulations, Trustee Cosmerly. And moving on to item number 12, ballots. I would like to have a mover and seconder that the ballots for all positions be destroyed. It's moved by Trustee Cosmerly and seconded by Trustee Dewar. Once again, we're voting on that the ballots for all positions be destroyed. I don't see any discussion, so we'll move to a poll vote. Director?
Trustee Clement,
In favor.
Trustee Corbier-Addison,
In favor.
Trustee DeBoski,
In favor.
Trustee Dewar,
In favor.
Trustee Farrell,
In favor.
Trustee Gibson,
In favor.
Trustee Hunda,
In favor.
Trustee Cosmerly,
In favor.
Trustee McCauley,
In favor.
Student Trustee Green.
In favor.
Motion is carried.
Thank you very much. That brings us to item number 13, adjournment of this organizational meeting. I need a mover as well as a seconder to adjourn the meeting. Moved by Trustee Corbier-Addison and seconded by Trustee Hunda. Do we need a poll vote for that? All those in favor, just please a raise of hands. It is carried. Thank you. We are now adjourned. We're going to take about a 5-minute break and then we'll come back. Okay.
For our trustees online, I'll just let you know we're set to begin, and I'll let you know when we're live in about 5 seconds. Okay, trustees, we're live. We're set to begin. Over to you, Chair Farrell.
Yes, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the regular board meeting of the Rainbow District School Board for Tuesday, November 21st, 2023. Just a reminder to everybody that this meeting is being live streamed, and we will start the meeting tonight by taking the roll call. Director Bourget, please.
Trustee DeBoski.
Present.
Trustee Farrell.
Present.
Trustee Gibson.
Present.
Trustee Cosmerly.
Present.
Trustee McCauley.
Present.
Trustee Dewar.
Present.
Trustee Hunda.
Present.
Trustee Corbier-Addison.
Present.
Trustee Clement.
Present.
Student Trustee Green.
Present.
Student Trustee Jack Osaiwink.
Thank you very much. We'll move forward with our agenda. Letter A is the approval of the agenda. We need a mover and a seconder that the agenda for the regular board meeting of November 21st be approved. So I could have a mover. We have a mover, it's Trustee Dewar, and a seconder, Trustee McCauley. We take a poll vote to accept, Director.
Trustee Clement.
In favor.
Trustee Corbier-Addison.
In favor?
Trustee DeBoski.
In favor.
Trustee Dewar.
In favor.
Trustee Farrell.
In favor.
Trustee Gibson.
In favor.
Trustee Hunda.
In favor.
Trustee Cosmerly.
In favor.
Trustee McCauley.
In favor.
Student Trustee Green.
In favor.
Motion's carried.
Thank you, Director. Letter B, preliminary declaration of pecuniary interest. Seeing none, we'll move on to section letter C. It's a presentation, and I'd like to welcome our director, Director Bourget, to give us an update on enrollment. Director Bourget, where you go.
Thank you, Chair Farrell, and good evening, trustees. My purpose is to provide a brief update on some enrollment data as of our count date in October of this current school year. These figures are part of what generates our grants for student needs funding, and this does include both in-person and remote learners. So as you can see from the next slide, we're pleased to report that we've had another increase in enrollment this year. As of October, at a total of 14,285 students, up from our October 31st figure from last year of 14,070. We've also seen remote learners reduced from approximately 1.2% of all learners in 2022-23 to just 0.5% in this current year. And as you know, we are not planning to continue remote learning in 2024-25. The next slide you'll see focuses on the elementary panel. This image depicts the trend of increased enrollment over the last 3 years. Each of the last 3 years have seen a slight increase. And this is a very continuing positive sign for the board. The next slide is difficult to see. What it does show is a breakdown by each grade. It shows the same increases, and we're pleased to let you know that throughout the challenges of staffing, we've been able to staff accordingly throughout this school year. If you do have a chance to look, I won't go through all of the numbers, but what you will see is that over each year of the last 3, we've shown increases, and those are reflected consistently at most grade levels. There's always some slight adjustments or pieces where they don't show consistent gains, but overall we've had those gains, and we're grateful for the hard work that's come with making that possible. The following chart shows outlines of total registration of each of our elementary schools within the board. You can see that our principals have done an excellent job in making predictions with very good accuracy. And I'll just pause for a moment just to let you see the slide and maybe cast your eyes on some of the schools that are within your area. When you look at it, you'll see that there are 3 columns. There's the actual enrollment as of October of last year. The middle column is what was predicted for this year in October. And the data on the left is the actual for this October. So we're just going to go back to that very first slide. One more, please. So now we'll flip to the next one. Of course, you know, this is all just a summary of where our elementary schools are at. Again, it's not visible on the slide, but the farthest right is the actual. So I'll just give one example to break it down. Perhaps we'll go to Walden. You'll see that they had 424 students last October. They predicted 415. And at October 31st, this year they had 421. You also see the totals for the board. Last year we had 9,288 students as of the October count date. The prediction for this October was 9,133. And we exceeded that prediction by almost 200 students. And we also exceeded last year's October total to have 9,315 students as of October 23rd. October 31st, 2023. Moving on to secondary. Similar to our graph for elementary students, this image shows an upward trend of our enrollment for our secondary panel, including a current year total of 4,779.7 students, representing 4 consecutive years of increased enrollment. Now, when you see the 0.7, that is just because some students have part-time status, and that's the accumulation of those totals that are reflected in our overall total. The next slide, or chart I should say, shows a breakdown of the secondary enrollment by school. And you may note that the total enrollment figure is slightly different from the one on the previous slide. This data also captures high credit, section 23, and age 21 and over students, which count slightly differently. And just for your memory, high credit is when students have achieved significantly more than the graduation requirement. So those credits count differently in our overall enrollment. So again, at the bottom, you'll see last year 4,749, this year 4,970, with these extra totals I just mentioned, over the predicted of 4,863.5. Next, we just want to show our increases in our regional enrollment across the board. So you see we have some historical data there, and the areas are broken down into Central Sudbury, Manitoulin Espanola, New Sudbury, the south end of Sudbury, Valley East area, Rayside Balfour, and the west end of Sudbury. And these represent the geographical areas within our board. And you see that each area has that's enrollment of students, total students, from 2018 up to this current year in October. And for the most part, you see a consistent rise, especially if you compare over time 2018 to 2023. You see most areas have had an increase of some proportion or maintaining where they've been at. So this reflects our overall increases over time in the last 5 years. And as I said, most have shown that growth or held steady over that time. This data does exclude some smaller programs like our ALTA program or our adult day school attendance center programs, things of that nature. These are in our regular day school programs reflected in this. And we also have a little bit of information on homeschool. This was a point of interest in the past. The following data on this slide presented on students that are homeschooled shows a trend of returning to pre-pandemic numbers. So you'll see 2019, 2020, our total was 134. We're back to around 132 homeschooled students. It's broken down by secondary and elementary, but you do see how it rose during pandemic times. So we're currently at the total of 132. And please note that these are not calculated as part of our enrollment submissions to the ministry, as they are not funded through the grants for student needs. So with that, my purpose was just to give you a brief update. Of course, I will provide a more detailed update in the new year after we also have our March count date data, but I'm happy to take any quick questions you might have.
Thank you, Director Bourget. Looking for any questions. I'm going to recognize Trustee Clement.
Just a quick question. Would you have it offhand, or maybe Superintendent Guilbeault, the per pupil cost? What we get per pupil?
I would defer that question to Superintendent Guilbeault. He could probably give
I
you
figured
a
that.
close approximation.
Yeah.
I don't have the exact figure, but it's approximately 13,000, just over 13,000.
Any further questions? Trustee Cosmerly.
Thank you. I'm just wondering if we could get a copy of that data. Is that something, I know it's something that we used to receive, and it's helpful, I find, looking at the prediction and how it's, how we've changed. So I'm just wondering if that's something that could be shared with the trustees. Thank you.
So Trustee Cosmerly, Director Bourget just shared with me he will prepare something and get it out to us. Okay? Thank you. Any further questions? Any from online? Trustee Gibson.
Thank you, Chair Farah. Yes, I'd like to move a motion that we get a copy of any slideshows that are shared at meetings going forward.
Okay. So we have a proposed motion. We're looking for a seconder of this motion. Yes, Trustee Corbett-Addison? Okay, we have a seconder. So the motion that is on the floor is that we received a copy of all slideshows that are presented to us, or slide decks that are presented to us at the board meetings. Okay? Trustee Gibson, would you like to speak in favor of this motion?
Yes, I would. Thank you, Chair Farah. Yes, I would just like it to be a standing order. I often have to request a copy, and it's just something that I think we should have ahead of the meeting, but if for whatever reason we can't have it ahead of the meeting, I see no reason why we can't have a copy to refer to afterwards in case we need to ask questions and analyze that data, or have others share it with supporters of the board. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Gibson. Is there anybody that would be speaking in opposition to this motion? Trustee Cosmerly.
I will only, I'm not, in some respects I agree. In some respects I think this is too blanket, and we may not want every single presentation that's given to us. Plus we're trying to be green. We've been doing a lot to try to support our environmental group and to be green. So maybe maybe there's another alternative, sharing information beforehand, or other options that might be considered rather than having paper copies at the meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Cosmerly. I have Trustee Doer, followed by Trustee Hunda. Go ahead, Trustee Doer.
Yes, thank you very much, Chair Farrell. I will not be supporting this motion. If I want, I would prefer to have the director respond when I want a copy of something, and I do feel that the director is extremely responsive, and so I will not be supporting this motion.
Thank you, Trustee Doer. Trustee Hunda.
Thank you, Chair Farrell. I guess I had a bit of a question. I, too, am a person that likes to have something to look at, to compare to, particularly this kind of enrollment data, budget. But I guess my question through you to the motion, were we talking paper copies, or were we talking like virtual? Because I agree again with my colleague, Trustee Cosmerly, that we have greatly reduced our paper footprint in the last couple of years. So, but I'm kind of 1 foot in and 1 foot out, to be honest, like I do personally, but I'm quite happy asking for it when I need it. But on the other hand, some of us are getting old, and it's kind of hard sometimes to see overhead. So I don't know. Thank you.
So I'm gonna go to the mover to answer some of those questions, to maybe add some flavor to what the discussion is.
Thank you, Chair Farah. Yes, I didn't specify electronically because we receive all our agendas electronically, so I assume that we could, friendly amendment, insert the word electronically in there. And just regarding environmental concerns, there is a cost to sending electronic communications, so every time a single person has to request an email to request something, and then they get an answer, and then there's a cost to that as well environmentally. Electronic communications are not without their environmental cost. So we're sending out usually the agenda email anyway. If the presentations were ready, they could just be sent with that email ahead of time. That is what I would prefer. That is what our governance bylaw states regarding reports, but these are technically presentations. So that's why I believe they're not covered by the governance bylaw. So I'm specifically talking about those presentations that we wouldn't get a copy of anyway. So hopefully that clears that up. Trustee Hunda, thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Gibson. And if I could just request, if you could just jot something down on a notepad, what the motion would look like, so we can read it, then we can vote on it, please.
That the Board of Trustees receive an electronic copy of all presentations that are made at board meetings.
An electronic copy? Okay. Any further discussion or questions on this? So we have a motion before us that reads that the Board of Trustees receive previous or prior to the meeting copy? No, doesn't. Okay, so Board of Directors receives an electronic copy of I'm making this up as I go. So that the board
of presentations / slide decks, or slide decks in parentheses, that are presented to the Board of Trustees.
So I'm going to look to Nicole to see if she has something down that is written. Yes, could you please? Okay. Did the trustees at home hear that?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. If you would bring it here, Nicole, I will read it. Right here. Okay, that trustees receive an electronic copy of board presentations, board presentations / slides made at the board meeting. So I'll try that again. Trustees receive an electronic copy of the board presentations or slides that are made at the board meeting. So we have a mover, that would be Trustee Gibson, and seconder, Trustee Corbier-Addison. If there's no further discussion, we will, Trustee McCauley.
I generally support the motion, only because of the fact that it's good to get everything ahead of time. The one thing, when you read it out, it sounded like we would get it at the meeting. I think it's important we get it before the meeting, that we can prepare. And I think that it somehow or other it be up to the staff and the director to select what they feel is appropriate for the board to have.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, we will call for the vote. Director?
Trustee Clement.
In favor.
Trustee Corbier-Addison.
In favor?
Trustee Dubosky.
In favor.
Trustee Dewar.
Opposed.
Trustee Farrell.
In favor.
Trustee Gibson.
In favor.
Trustee Hunda.
In favor.
Trustee Cosmerly.
Opposed?
Trustee McCauley.
In favor.
Student Trustee Green.
In favor.
Motion is carried.
So the motion is carried. Thank you very much. Getting back to the business at hand, are there any further questions for Director Bourget? Seeing none, thank you so much, Director, for that wonderful update on enrollment. It is so encouraging to see that our numbers are so strong at this time, so really appreciate that. I missed it. Yeah, I can't really see you, sir. Are you sure that I could come to you? Okay, thank you, Trustee Hunda, for your patience. We're moving along in the agenda now to letter D, and that's reports from the closed meeting of the board. Director, I don't think we have any, do we? So we can dispatch with that fairly quickly. Letter D, old business. We have a couple of sets of minutes that we need to review and pass. So we need a mover and seconder for the following motion, that the minutes of the special board meeting held on Tuesday, October 17th, 2023 be approved. A mover, that is Trustee Cosmerly, and a seconder, would that be Trustee Dubosky? Any questions, comments, errors, or omissions? Seeing none, we have a duly moved and seconded motion. Director, if we could do a poll vote, please.
Trustee Clement.
In favor.
Trustee Corbier-Addison.
In favor.
Trustee Dubosky.
In favor.
Trustee Dewar.
In favor.
Trustee Farrell.
In favor.
Trustee Gibson.
In favor.
Trustee Hunda.
In favor.
Trustee Cosmerly.
In favor.
Trustee McCauley.
I have a question, please, Chair.
Yes, go ahead, Trustee McCauley.
Is it appropriate for me to vote on this particular motion because I wasn't in attendance at those meetings?
So I know the answer to that question, Trustee McCauley, because I asked the same question when I was first a trustee last year, and the answer is yes, it is appropriate for you to vote.
Okay, thank you. I agree.
Student Trustee Green.
In favor.
Motion's carried.
Thank you very much. Next section is the section B. Motion is the second set of minutes. And the motion that you have before you is that the minutes of the regular board meeting held on Tuesday, October 24th, 2023 be approved. So we'll need a mover and a seconder for that motion. So it's moved by Trustee Clement and seconded by Trustee Hunda. Any errors, omissions, or questions on this? Seeing none, we will call for the vote. Director Bourget.
Trustee Clement.
In favor.
Trustee Corbier-Addison.
In favor.
Trustee Dubosky.
In favor.
Trustee Dewar.
In favor.
Trustee Farrell.
In favor.
Trustee Gibson.
In favor.
Trustee Hunda.
In favor.
Trustee Cosmerly.
In favor?
Trustee McCauley.
In favor.
Student Trustee Green.
In favor.
Motion's carried.
Thank you very much. Moving on to section 2 of old business E, reports and recommendation from board committees, and we have none at this time. Agenda section F, new business. Number 1, 2023-2024 school year update, and we'll call upon Director Bourget to give us an update. Sir.
Thank you, Chair Farrell. It gives me great pleasure to share some of the wonderful news about teaching and learning in our schools. This update provides a brief snapshot of teachable moments, new initiatives, and school celebrations. During our Executive Council weekly visits, we continue to be inspired by the work of our administrators, students, teachers, and support staff. We commend our administrative teams for their instructional leadership, ensuring that we realize our collective mission. Together, we prepare students to become lifelong learners, achieving their full potential as confident, caring members of society. I'd also like to extend a warm welcome to Trustee Alex McCauley, who was sworn in by Madam Justice Patricia Hennessy on Monday, November 13th. We look forward to working with you in your new governance role with the board. Also like to thank Justice Hennessy for administering the oath of office. Literacy and numeracy was the focus of professional learning on November 10th. School teams reviewed their progress in achieving the literacy and numeracy goals from the school improvement plan, focusing attention on the implementation of high-yield teaching strategies. Educators assessed the impact to date of incorporating high-yield strategies in their instruction and deepened their understanding of the connections between clear and specific learning goals, success criteria, and feedback. School-level data from provincial assessments were considered, along with the results of initial and ongoing classroom assessments. Survey results were also reviewed as part of the initial data collection for each school's Math Achievement Action Plan. Administrators facilitated this learning at their respective schools. Students at ABLS Public School are honing their math skills by working on mental math. In this moment, students were asked a question. If Luna goes for 7 morning walks and 8 afternoon walks, how many walks does Luna go on? Students call on their number sense to solve this problem and proudly display their thinking. Some students use tally marks to group the walks to arrive at friendly numbers and get to 15. Others use the number equation 7 plus 8 equals 15 to represent a solution. As students build their understanding, they build automaticity. Our mental health lead and social workers provided training at a central location for grade 7 and 8 teachers for ministry-mandated mental health literacy modules. These modules will be delivered to grade 7 and 8 students to further support student well-being. Parents and guardians will receive information about these modules in advance of their presentation at each school. As you may know, our school administrators gather for monthly leadership team meetings. On November 15th, we welcomed an education officer from EQAO who is part of the school support and outreach team. Our staff worked on math questions. Students would be asked on assessments to see how they are structured and what skills questions are measuring, such as thinking and inquiry, and some of them involve multiple steps. They also looked at how they could change a question to a single application question, one that requires a skill. As they looked at knowledge and understanding questions, for example, they focused on patterns and relationships in numbers. EQAO recently released practice questions to demonstrate what skills are being measured and why. We'll use these sample questions as part of our professional learning as we look for continuous improvement in our EQAO results. And speaking of continuous improvement, when we presented our results at the October board meeting for EQAO, we indicated that we answer questions when we review them. How are we doing, and what can we do to improve student learning? In other words, what are our next steps? And we continue to dig deeper into our results. Many of our schools have made tremendous gains in primary and junior assessments during the last school year. We asked these principals of these schools to share what they're doing with their colleagues at the last meeting. One principal said, "Literacy is the currency for all learning." That's why we're being very purposeful and intentional in our work. Our administrators commended staff for their great engagement and commitment to improving their practice. Principals ensure that staff have the support and resources they require to meet the needs of all learners. They protect instructional time, make effective use of staff to support students, have high expectations for staff and students. They use high-yield strategies, including success criteria. They have a team approach. They pair students with caring adults, and they build strong relationships among staff, parents, guardians, and members of the community. Staff take ownership of students across all grades, and together they build a sense of responsibility for the social and academic development of the students in their collective care. We know that parents and guardians are important partners in the learning process. Our program team compiled a list of resources parents and guardians can use with their children at home to continue the journey of learning together. Principals will share this resource with families. We'll also post it online and plan to include it in the guide for students and parents, guardians in the future. We'll also share this with our First Nations Advisory Committee. This will put learning tools at their fingertips with a focus on reading, writing, and math, and we encourage our parents and guardians to engage in their students' learning at home. We encourage our students to be practicing reading, writing, and math skills while at home, because we know with practice, these foundational skills will become more automatic. Also, during our leadership team meeting, our mental health lead shared a reflection tool for continuous learning and improvement in mental health and well-being at school. The tool asks us to consider the social and physical environments, student engagement, well-being literacy, and knowing your students, curriculum, teaching and learning at home, school, and community partnerships. In other words, welcome, include, understand, promote, and partner. Treaties Recognition Week was held from November 5th to November 11th. Staff and students in Rainbow Schools continue to learn about treaties and the importance of a treaty relationship. The Indigenous Education Department shared pedagogical considerations for teaching about treaties. The Ministry of Education has updated the grades 1 to 3 social studies curriculum to reflect the importance of all students learning about treaties. All students beginning in the first grade are expected to learn about the traditional and Indigenous treaty territories their school is located on. By learning more about our collective treaty rights and information and our obligations, we can create better understanding and foster better relationships between Indigenous and non-Indigenous people. As part of their learning, students from Manitoulin Secondary School created dream catchers. Schools also observed Remembrance Day on Thursday, November 9th. Ceremonies included members of local legions and showcased art, poetry readings, songs, and the laying of wreaths. If you ever had the opportunity to participate in a Remembrance Day service at school as a trustee, it is something to behold, as students and staff pay their respects to the brave soldiers who fought for our freedom. Flags flew at half-mast in Sudbury, Espinal, and Manitoulin Island on November 8th to mark Indigenous Veterans Day. And throughout the weekend, the flag stayed at half-mast. This is an important tradition in Rainbow Schools. Here you see a picture of our Think Trades trailer. Have tools and can travel. That's the purpose of this new trailer that was started touring elementary schools to introduce the trades to intermediate students. Students will participate in activities related to the skilled trades, OYAP, and SHISMs. Confederation Secondary School helped prepare this trailer. The trailer houses backpacks with various tools, including drills, drivers, palm sanders, hammers, screwdrivers, pliers, and measuring tapes. And the tools can also be brought in the classroom to further learning. Currently, the program is being piloted in the Valley area with the intent to expand board-wide in the new year. Lowell Park School cross-country team added another banner to their long list of victories. They have a team motto: race as one, compete as a team, and finish as a family. The senior boys in particular have had an incredible 3-year run at OFSA. Their achievements include gold in 2021 at OFSA, 4th in senior boys in 2022, 4th in senior boys, and just 5 points away from a medal this year on November 4th in Etobicoke. Also this week, we send our congratulations and best wishes to the following teams from Rainbow Schools who have qualified to represent Northern Ontario at OFSA. The LaSalle Senior Boys Volleyball team are the defending OFSA AA champions and are ranked first of all teams entering this week's competition in Stratford. The Lowell Park Senior Girls Basketball team repeated again this year as NOSA champions and are ranked 5th at OFSA AA in Guelph. The Lockerbie Composite Boys Volleyball team are city champions this year and are ranked 3rd at AA OFSA this year in Kitchener. And the Llewellyn Park Senior Boys Volleyball team is heading to AAA OFSA in Windsor. I had the pleasure of participating in a very special presentation at the Shirley and Jim Fielding Northeast Cancer Center on May 9th. Sorry about that date, that's November 9th, at Lockerbie Composite School, was recognized for the annual cancer drive. It was a bit of a reunion of sorts, as former and current principals came together with students and staff to celebrate a milestone. The Lockerbie Caring for Kids Cancer Drive has raised over $1 million for pediatric cancer research and care in partnership with the Northern Cancer Foundation. The drive began in 1995 and was named in memory of Laura Catesta in 1998. And a cabinet, as you see from the pictures, is filled with memories of the fundraising efforts, and it now stands in the Cancer Center lobby. A plaque hangs in the pediatric chemotherapy area waiting room, acknowledging the generations of students and staff who have made a difference in cancer care by raising that $1 million total. The success of the cancer drive is a reflection of generosity and compassion in our communities. Local businesses, organizations, and individuals have all contributed, making a significant difference in the lives of young patients affected by cancer for close to 3 decades of giving. Here you see a picture of some Manitoulin Secondary School music and drama classes who journeyed to Sudbury Secondary School to see the production of Little Mermaid Jr., which also stars our very own student trustee, Sawyer Green. Students met some of the cast and spoke with their technical director. It was a wonderful learning experience for all. For productions of this magnitude, props and set pieces are constructed in shop classes, sets are painted by visual arts majors, and costumes are designed by students in fashion classes. And if you have a chance, public performances of The Little Mermaid Junior continue this week from November 24th and 25th at 6:30 p.m. at Sudbury Secondary School. Rainbow District School Board also welcomed grade 7 and 8 students and their parents and guardians to Next Stop Grade 9 on November 14th at Cambrian College. I'd like to thank our families for joining us to begin this first step on our journey into secondary school. I'd also like to acknowledge our school administrators, system principals, curriculum coordinators, and school staff who are on site to share information about our schools and our programs. At this evening, we distributed an updated guide for students and parents on finding their way from grade 8 to grade 9, and that guide is available online at rainbowschools.ca. The Next Stop Grade 9 journey continues in the coming months. All of our secondary schools will be hosting information nights, and we invite students to come to our schools, meet the staff, tour our facilities, and explore our great programs. We encourage students and staff to join, and parents to come with them. This is a big step in a young person's life, and we are here to help. This week is Bullying Prevention and Awareness Week. It's an opportune time for us to share what we're doing in our schools to create a safe and inclusive environment for all of our students. Last year, we piloted the Dare to Care program in 12 elementary schools with a great amount of positive feedback. This year, all of our K-8 schools are implementing the program. With modules for students, professional learning for staff, and resources for parents and guardians, Dare to Care engages the entire school community to work towards a common goal, transforming the silent majority into the caring majority. Students learn about the importance of being kind, the difference between bullying and mean moments, the difference between telling on someone to get them in trouble versus telling people to help get others out of trouble, and standing up for yourself or others. Prevention and intervention strategies focus on social and emotional learning with a strong emphasis on empathy. Through the program, administrators, teachers, support staff, parents and guardians, and students gain a deeper understanding of bullying, and more importantly, develop tools to create a caring community. We look forward to share more information about Dare to Care with you as the school year progresses. We're also focusing our attention on staying safe online. We asked our schools to share resources with parents and guardians, including a parent tip sheet on cyber safety. Engaging in conversations can build understanding about important topics like trust, consent, boundaries, and privacy. Our goal in sharing these resources is to build awareness and encourage dialogue. We all have a role to play in building safe and caring communities in person and online. And in the spirit of giving, and with the coldest season just around the corner, schools are finding their way to help everyone stay warm this season. Princess Anne Public School has set up a winter hat and mitten tree in the school foyer. Items are available for any student in need, and the tree will be replenished throughout the winter months. The school council at Little Current Public School is leading a winter clothing drive. The school is accepting donations of gently used socks, mitts, hats, toques, winter coats, and sweatpants for children and adults of all sizes. The picture you see here is Lively District Secondary School, the home of the Hawks, and they'll be able to realize a long-standing goal for its athletic programs after scoring a $10,000 donation from Major Drilling on November 16th. Funds will go towards the purchase and installation of a new scoreboard and shot clocks for the school gym. The school community already raised half of the amount required to purchase and install the equipment, and this generous donation from Major Drilling will make it a reality. Operations Manager Cody Lanavans is delighted to contribute to Lively District Secondary School's gym enhancements. With a scoreboard and shot clocks, the basketball and volleyball teams at Lively will be able to host games in their own gym, and this will certainly benefit athletes, coaches, spectators, parents, guardians, and the community alike. And trustees, here's a photo of the new gym at LaSalle Elementary School. You can see some pictures of Trustee Farrow, who's on a visit, and also the principal of the school and some of the contractors. The staff unveiled the space to students during the very first school-wide assembly, and you see that picture on the left. You can see the gym from the foyer as you actually enter the school. It's very impressive. It's a wonderful space for our students from kindergarten to grade 6 to engage in physical activity. And signage has now been installed on the front of the school, the home of the Lancers. Rainbow Schools in Sudbury, Espanola, and Manitoulin will host kindergarten information nights for students starting school next September. All parents and guardians and their children are most welcome. As a reminder, for enrollment in kindergarten, your child must be 4 years of age by the end of that calendar year. Information nights will take place from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, January 17th for the English program, and Thursday, January 18th for the French program. Schools offering English and French immersion will host one information night on January 18th. And ending on a lighter note, our very own Trustee Dabaski is amongst People of Chaging, featured on the CBC show Still Standing, which aired recently. In this series, Canadian comedian Johnny Harris discovers the hidden comedy in Canada's small towns. Congratulations, Chaging, and well done, Trustee Dabaski. Trustees, thank you for the brief opportunity here to provide an update, and if you have any questions, I'd be pleased to answer them.
Thank you, Director Bourget. Any questions for the Director on this wonderful report? Well, seeing none, Bruce, it's just a testimony to the great work that continues to happen in Rainbow District School. So thank you very much for that update. We're going to move on to, in the agenda now, to section F number 2, and it's the Public Education Symposium. That's the PES 2023-2024. And I'm looking over to Trustee Cosmerly that maybe can give us a bit of an update that what happens at the at that symposium. I've actually looked online, and it looks really exciting, but I know it's near and dear to your heart, so I'd like you to just talk a little bit about it.
You're taking some of my thunder from the OPSPA remarks. It's always, PES is always an excellent opportunity to meet with other trustees, to network, to see what's going on in other boards, to learn, to listen to some incredible speakers. And this year, I won't talk about it then under the OPSPA remarks, this year OPSPA has something special happening. They're unveiling their new brand. They are also going to be running for the first time a program for chairs, for board chairs. This is at the request of the Ministry of Education, and it's to help chairs know what they're doing at the board table. But it is excellent. I go every year. Bob goes every year. Doreen went pretty much every year as well, for years and years. It's an excellent opportunity to learn, to grow, and to find out what's happening everywhere else in the province. Thanks.
Thank you, Trustee Cosman. You see, now you understand why I've asked, because of the passion that you have for the work that you do at OPSPA is infectious. So what we're looking for now, we have a motion that the board approve the attendance of trustees that would like to go to this event. And the date of the conference is January 25th and 26th, 2024, and it's in Toronto. So my advice to the trustees, if you're interested in going, please put your name forward tonight, and you can always, later on and say, I'm not able to go, but we need to get a motion approved for the trustees that would like to attend. So what I'm going to need is a mover and a seconder that the board approve the attendance of the following trustees. So if I could just see a show of hands or an indication if you would like to attend. So we have Trustee Gibson. Thank you. Trustee McCauley, Trustee Cosmerly, sorry, Judy, Trustee Corbier-Addison, Trustee Green, Trustee Clement, and Trustee Hunda, did I see your hand? And online, Trustee Dabaski, okay. Okay, I'm just going to go through this to make sure that I have everybody. So Trustee Gibson, Trustee McCauley, Trustee Cosmerly, Trustee Corbier-Addison, Trustee Green, Trustee Clement, Trustee Hunda, Trustee Dabaski, and Trustee Farrow. Yes, Trustee Green?
At a later date, I don't know if Student Trustee Jacosai would want to come. So at a later date, would they be able to
Let me look to our director for some advice on that.
So I think we have to check with OPSPA if student trustees are invited to attend first. Should that be possible, then that's certainly something that's there. But student trustees have their own association, which you attend meetings for. So I'm not sure if that's possible in this case. I think we'll have to do a little bit of homework and get back to you.
I think that if I look to Trustee Cosmerly, she may have some more information on that.
I thought they did come, but what I will do is check with OPSPA, and I'll do that tomorrow morning, and we can put the names forward, and just so that we've got it covered off. The expenses are paid by this board. They're not paid by OPSPA. So I will check with OPSPA.
I know at
Go ahead, Trustee Green.
I know at our FGM, our ALSTA meeting, they did say that student trustees were invited to that, but yeah, getting a confirmation on that would be great. Thank you.
Trustee Clement.
As far as I know, they're not invited, but they came, a lot of them come with their boards.
Okay. Yeah.
So nobody's stopping it, so we'll, like Judy said, she'll check into it.
So I think in fairness, we put all the names of interest forward at this point in time, and then we'll get back if there's anything that changes. That makes sense to folks? Okay, so we'll put the motion on the floor. I'm going to need a mover and a seconder for the following motion. That the board approve the attendance of the following trustees at the 2024 Public Education Symposium in Toronto on January 25th, 26th in 2024. And those following trustees are Trustee Farrow, Trustee Gibson, Trustee McCauley, Trustee Cosmerly, Trustee Corbier-Addison, Trustee Green, Trustee Clement, Trustee Hunda, Trustee Dubosky, and Trustee Jacko-Sywick. So can I have a mover for that motion? A move by Judy Hunda, Trustee Hunda, I'm sorry, and seconded by Trustee Gibson. Poll vote, Director, thank you.
Trustee Clement,
In favor.
Trustee Corbier-Addison,
In favor.
Trustee Dubosky,
In favor?
Trustee Dewar,
In favor?
Trustee Farrow,
In favor?
Trustee Gibson,
In favor.
Trustee Hunda,
In favor?
Trustee Cosmerly,
In favor?
Trustee McCauley,
In favor.
Student Trustee Green.
In favor.
Motion's carried.
Thank you very much. Moving on in our agenda to section F, number 3, notice of absence. Trustee Jacko-Sywick sends her regrets to this meeting. Do we need a motion or anything with that? No, okay, that's fine. Okay, good. All right, so section 4, director's remarks. Go ahead, Director Bourget.
Thank you, Chair Farrow. I have some brief remarks. Tonight, I just want to take a moment to thank our school and community coaches, volunteers, and leaders. As we conclude the fall sports season, it's a great time to express our sincere appreciation for all staff and community members who volunteer their time to create opportunities for our students to experience extracurricular activities, whether it be band, drama, art, robotics, school clubs, mock trial, reach for the top, or sports. Our students greatly appreciate the time and expertise of our staff and community volunteers. Parents and guardians also regularly show appreciation for the tremendous positive impact their child's participation has on their physical and mental well-being. So to our volunteers and to our staff members who take the time to do so, please know that you're difference makers. You build lifelong memories, you build character, skills, fitness, resilience, and success. You bring joy to those involved as students look forward to the opportunities to be part of a team and learn how to work together to achieve a common goal. The value of extracurricular activities is very significant, and I want to thank our volunteers, staff, administrators, and trustees for your support of extracurricular activities for our students. I'd conclude my comments by sharing my gratitude to the Board of Trustees for your leadership and support of staff, students, and families in all aspects of what we do. Thank you. We do appreciate your work.
And a big thank you to you also, Director Bourget, for all the hard work that you do in orchestrating all the good work that our staff does. Any comments or questions for Director Bourget on his remarks? Seeing none, we'll move on to our next section, which is section F5, and there's a report, other items, and we'll turn the floor over to Trustee Cosmerly to give the OPSPA report.
Thank you. A couple of things. Earlier today, OPSPA announced that a tentative agreement has been reached with ETVO teachers and occasional teachers. More information will be forthcoming to trustees in the next few weeks. The third of 3 OPSPA Leaders Academy Good Governance workshops will be held online at noon tomorrow on the topic delegations, opportunities to hear from the public, and what to do when disruptions get in the way. These 1-hour workshops are available for viewing at any time on the OPSPA YouTube channel. On November 14th, OPSPA submitted feedback regarding the 2024-2025 funding guide, GSNs, to the Ministry of Education. This document is posted on the OPSPA website if you wish to review it. It is quite comprehensive. On November 17th, OPSPA submitted its response to a proposal by the Ministry of Education to introduce an accelerated apprenticeship pathway for grade 11 and 12 students. In preparing its response, OPSPA consulted with its own education working group, of which Trustee Corbier-Addison is a member, and with various school boards and groups across the education sector. OPSPA has indicated that it is unequivocally and not in support of the 2 implementation models proposed by the Ministry of Education. If you're interested in reading the Ministry's proposal and OPSPA's response, I would be more than happy to send these documents to you, as I don't believe they have been posted. The deadline for feedback to Skills Development and Apprenticeship Branch is November 24th. OPSPA Regional Council meetings scheduled for January 13th, 2024 have been cancelled. The next Regional Council meeting will be held April 6th, 2024. And with respect to PES, what I didn't say, that's the Public Education Symposium, register early, and more importantly, book your hotel room early because they go fast. OPSPA reserves a certain number of rooms, and they go like the wind, honest to God, and the rates at the Sheraton Centre are extremely, really high. And finally, the next Board of Directors meeting is scheduled for this coming Sunday, November 26th in Toronto, followed by Advocacy Day at Queen's Park on Monday, November 27th, an event I'm really looking forward to. This is a chance to meet individually and collectively with MPPs to share province-wide and local education concerns and to advocate for their resolution, and to educate politicians and their staff about the great work that trustees and school boards do in support of public education. Thank you. I'm not sure if Trustee Corbier-Addison wanted to speak a little bit about the accelerated pathways.
So, go ahead, Trustee Corbier-Addison.
Yeah, I can. There was a brief consultation on November 10th that I attended online with other members of OPSPA. Our marks were summarized in a report that was presented by OPSPA to the boards, and basically there are programs such as OYAP SHISM Co-op that are well-established, valued programs over time that provide the opportunity for students to explore career pathways at the same time as they earned OSGDs, and we don't want to support students leaving school early without an OSGD, in summary. So that's the nuts and bolts.
Thank you, Trustee Corbier-Addison and Trustee Cosmerly. Does anybody have questions for them? Seeing none, just wanted to say thank you so much for the great work that you do on the provincial level and keeping us updated and informed about what's going on. So thank you so much for that. The next item on our agenda is Student Trustee, and I'd like to call upon Student Trustee Green to give his report.
Thank you very much, Chair. At our last meeting, we started talking about our year-end conference and a possible theme. We haven't decided anything yet, but all the senators seem very excited. Adam, a student from Lockerbie Composite School and one of our student senators, made a Remembrance Day post that reads, "On this day, we remember those who fought for our freedom. We remember the lives lost. We honor those who served." This post was shared on Instagram. Thank you so much to Adam and at large the Rainbow District School Board for treating Remembrance Day with such care. Finally, for this month, which is Diabetes Awareness Month, last year, a student with type 1 diabetes from Sudbury Secondary School for the month of November wanted to bring awareness to what she has to deal with on a daily basis because of her diabetes. Our school started the Blue Balloon Challenge, which involves keeping a balloon in the air while the regular class goes on. This is to demonstrate that students with diabetes have to constantly be focused on whether their blood sugar is at a high or low and be able to treat themselves in class. It was incredibly effective. This year, once again, Sudbury Secondary School, we planned on doing the same thing again and spreading awareness about Diabetes Month. I brought this up to Student Senate, and they were all very pumped to do something about it. Many of the schools are going to be bringing awareness to diabetes, and we plan to raise money to donate to Diabetes Canada. I want to personally thank Ms. Ashik Fox for supporting the project last year and this year. I also wanted to thank from the bottom of my heart Sophie Doherty, the brave student with type 1 diabetes who made this all happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Green. Any questions for him? Seeing none, fantastic report. It's amazing to see the work that you're doing. So please keep it up, and thanks for such great reports that you give us. That brings us to trustees' remarks. We have Trustee Cosmerly. Go ahead, Judy. Oh, Trustee Cosmerly. I'm sorry. Formal.
This week is designated Bullying Awareness and Prevention Week, which I believe the director spoke about. Its focus is to raise awareness about bullying and its impact and to promote safe schools and positive learning environments for everyone. Many of our schools have events planned for this week that focus on this theme. As well, there are a number of great resources available online that address bullying awareness, and I encourage everyone to take a look at them. And secondly, the Children's Telethon is coming up on December the 2nd. Rainbow Schools will be manning the phones from 9 to 10 o'clock p.m. Please call and make our day and donate to this very worthy cause. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Trustee Cosmerly. Trustee Hunda.
Thank you, Chair Farrell. Very quickly, I do want to add my thanks to all the coaches that have just worked so incredibly hard and the many successes that we celebrated this season. But whether you're successful or not, the important part is that the children had a reason. Without a coach, they can't be showing up and learning their skills. And it is, I attend a lot of games, and particularly at this time of year, it gets really cold. And so my credit to not only the coaches, but the students that continue to go out as well. I also want to invite all of you, if you haven't already, there's already been one show. I would, Sawyer and I would love to invite you to come see Little Mermaid at Sudbury Secondary. As you know, I'm very, very proud of the school, and I'm very proud of the productions that we put on there. They're fantastic. And what do we have? We added a new one, I believe. Sorry, if you could.
Yeah, so we have a show this Saturday, or this Friday at 6:30, and then on Saturday we have a show at 1 p.m. and a show at 6:30 p.m.
Yeah, I think we added a matinee on Saturday, which is good news. That means we're selling out really quick. So if you want to get your tickets online, please do. And finally, as the Christmas season is coming up very quickly, there will be all kinds of events going on at our schools, and I would like to invite all of you to take part in all of them in your schools, and any school. Drop by. It's honestly the thing I look forward to most every year, is what puts me in the Christmas spirit. And I think Judy, you just had a wonderful craft sale down at Confed over the weekend. I mean, it's these kinds of things that mean a lot to our students if they see us there. So if you would get a chance, please drop by and support. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Hunda. Any further trustees' remarks? And I'm looking to the trustees are online if there's anything. Trustee Corbier-Addison.
Just wanted to say extended thank you to the coaches who have been out there struggling with all the concerns of running a team and the funds and all that. Across the board, we need to continue to support those initiatives in many ways. Secondly, we had Rock Your Mocks in the schools, and there was much participation across the board. Maybe we need a tree of moccasins at the front of the school to help kids who don't have any in the future. Just a little point to mention there. And I just look forward to the Christmas season. We did have a craft sale at Manitoulin Secondary again this year, and there's lots going on in our schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Corbett-Addison. Any other comments? Okay, thank you very much. I'm sorry, Trustee McCauley.
I'm a little slow because I'm a little old. Just a little shout out to R.L. Beatty. They're having their Christmas sale this weekend, and I will be there on and off in between different things, and my wife will be there. So just if anybody happens to be around, I know they would appreciate you being there.
Perfect. Thank you, Trustee McCauley. I'm not going to shut it down too quickly now, so. Okay, thank you very much. I have a few comments. First and foremost, I do have to once again express to you my sincere gratitude and thank you for your vote of confidence today. I was not prepared for the overwhelming feeling of emotion that I had taking on this job. I have been part of the Rainbow District School Board, and previous to that, the Sudbury Board of Education for over 30 years now. So it's really a tremendous honor to be asked to serve as chair. So I just wanted to express that thought again. I also wanted to say a huge welcome to Trustee McCauley. I know Trustee McCauley quite well. We have another member of this board that has huge community knowledge, and his dedication to our city is unquestionable, and he has the biggest and the hugest heart that you'd ever want to see. Now, he won't show it to you, but I know he has that huge heart. So I just wanted to say, Alex, Trustee McCauley, welcome to the Rainbow District School Board, and thank you for stepping up and serving. Also, I'd like to extend my sincere congratulations to Lockerbie Composite School for reaching the $1 million milestone for their Kids Caring for Kids Cancer Drive in memory of Laura Costa. The Drive supports pediatric cancer research and care program in the North, and what an impact this initiative has made in our community, not only for today, but for yesterday and for the future. So well done to Lockerbie Composite School. And as the festive season approaches, Rainbow District School Board once again takes part in the Egerburton Kids Helping Kids Food Drive. Now that is a cause that is near and dear to my heart, and when I worked as a principal and a teacher with the Rainbow District School Board many years ago now, it was something that the schools that I was part of worked in constantly. It is a wonderful, wonderful it's a wonderful, wonderful event to get involved in, and it teaches our kids some really important community service knowledge and ideals. So thank you very much that we're involved in that again. Schools are going to work together to collect non-perishable food items, and of course monetary donations are very much welcomed by the Sudbury Food Bank. Also, the Rainbow Schools will mark Youth Climate Action Day on Tuesday, December the 5th. This is a day of intention where learning is a focus on the consequences of the textile industry for people and nature, water scarcity, recycling, corporate responsibility, food security, and sovereignty. Students will learn about actions they take in their respective schools for the betterment of Mother Earth. Shikamakwe. And there are 2 more public performances. I guess there's 3 more public performances now at Sudbury Secondary School at Little Mermaid Junior on November 24th and 25th, 2 at 6:30 p.m. and 1 a matinee performance at 1 o'clock on Saturday at Sheraton Auditorium. So tickets are $20 for adults and $10 for youth that are under 12 and can be purchased at the door or in advance through showpass.com. Don't miss it. I hear it's fantastic, and I hear there's a star sitting at the table here. And finally, grade 8 students and their parents and guardians are invited to information nights all at Rainbow Secondary Schools. Information nights take place between November and February. This month, Lively District Secondary School will host an open house on Thursday, November 30th at 6 p.m. And a full list of schools, dates, and times are available on the board website. So thank you very much. Those are my remarks. We'll move to Section G, and that's information and proposals. Part of your board package. Sorry, Trustee Hunda, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm a little bit out of line, but I also be very afraid to go home tonight if I didn't just give everyone a heads up about LaSalle Secondary's, they're putting on the Grinch, and it's not until December 21st, but I just wanted to, I was going to wait till the December meeting. However, the star happens to be just an absolutely wonderfully brilliant little granddaughter of mine. So I was a little afraid to go home without but maybe mentioning that, and maybe save the date. And again, you can get tickets for that as well online. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak out of line.
Thank you, Trustee Hunda. So Section G, information and proposals. Part of your board package is reports from officials and staff, tenders, requests and proposals, and non-staff communications. Section 8, further meetings. We have Student Senate meeting on December 4th at 5:30 p.m. That is located where, that meeting? Right here? Okay, thank you very much. Our next board meeting is on December the 5th at 5 p.m. here. Special Education Advisory Committee meets on December 6th at 11:30 a.m. Parent Involvement Committee will meet December 12th at 7 p.m. And finally, the Equity and Inclusion Committee will meet December 14th at 4 p.m. That brings us to the end of our agenda. Sorry, Superintendent Washnock has a point. I'm sorry, it's okay. Okay, so I have 11:30 here, so I'm going to just change out the Special Education Advisory Committee, December the 6th at 12 p.m. That's noon hour. That's a change of what we had written down here. Thank you, Superintendent Washnock, for that. So that we move now to adjournment, so I'll need a mover and a seconder that we do adjourn. Moved by Trustee Hunda and seconded by Trustee McCauley, and we are now adjourned. Thank you. Have a great night and drive.